HD TV of the AVP Pro Beach Volleyball Tour. If you haven't seen beach volleyball in high def, go out and buy one after the match ends today. Set, ready to go. Rachel Wacholder is going to serve first.
Got one of those high defs in your cellar there?
I do not yet.
Colorado?
I'm going to get one very, very soon. First serve goes to Misty May. And May taps it straight down. Who's playing better this year, Coach Garai, Misty May or Kerry Walsh?
I think they've taken turns. I would call them co-MVPs this year. That's the big question each of the last 3 years is who most deservedly gets the MVP. Kerry Walsh won it the 2 previous years, Misty May last year.
1-0 our score.
And line over.
And Wacholder over the top. Nice shot by Rachel Wacholder. Born in Laguna Beach, California. She's 5'9", out of the University of Colorado.
And you can hear Jen Boss helping her partner, Rachel Wacholder, with the line call.
And line over. Go, Kerry.
That's exactly what she said. Line over, trying to give her the open spot on the court where the defender is not, so she can hit that release shot, the soft shot, if she can't hit hard.
Jen Boss with the jumper. And it's a good one. She's got it. Chance for a point. And she hammers it down the line.
And Chris, unlike yesterday, we have a clear right to left, end-to-end win this game, and that's going to be a factor. And Jen Boss already used it to her advantage on that first serve. You can hit your serve much harder into the wind than when it's at your back.
Boss and Wacholder on the good side right now.
And gets another point-scoring opportunity.
Walsh, no. So Boss and Wacholder score another point.
And this is the one area where May and Walsh have shown really any weakness is when they face tough serving. That last play after the ace, Kerry Walsh passed the ball way back by the end line, and that's a hard play to put away.
3-1 our score. Boss again over to Misty. And Misty pops it down the line.
And you could hear that time the one you always told me to do, Chris, the staccato. Kerry Walsh set the ball up for her partner, Misty May, and then said, line, 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 and gave it to her 5 times just to let her know that high line, soft shot was open.
With emphasis, so your partner knows exactly what you're thinking. Here comes Boss. Dug by Walsh. Walsh, a very good defensive player, isn't she? And she taps it over the top. So Kerry Walsh, now 5th all-time in wins. Tied with Jackie Silver, as we mentioned, ahead of her Misty May by 4.
And this is something that Walsh and May have been executing very well this year, and that is whoever is not serving stands at the net to block. So Walsh serves on this next play. May will stand at the net and block.
3-3 our score. Game 1. Walsh to Wacholder.
And line yes.
Off the top. Karch mentioned Misty, a pretty good blocker, and that's going to be a lift. So May and Walsh have a point and lead it 4-3. Game 1 here on Coney Island, 4-3. May and Walsh. Garai, I'm Chris Muller. You know, there's no such thing as a sure thing in the world of sports, but Misty May and Kerry Walsh, just about the closest thing you can find.
Well, when you're the best team that's ever played women's beach volleyball, you do 2 things. Number 1, you win a lot. 146 wins and 7 losses on the AVP Tour since the Athens Olympics. Number 2, other teams break up constantly trying to find the combination that's going to take you down. You demoralize everybody so badly. And it starts with Misty May. Most of the teams try to force her to carry the offensive load, but she sees the court so well that it's very, very hard to stop her. And of course, she's also a great blocker. We saw that in the middle of this game. And then Walsh using her 6'3" height so well at the net, but amazingly, she's one of the quickest players in the world on defense and can chase down shots just as well as anybody.
The opposition today, one of those new teams that Karch Garai told you about, Jen Boss, the former outside hitter from USC, who's never won an AVP tournament. She's playing with Rachel Wacholder, who's really motivating.
And Rachel Wacholder feels like she's got her groove back. This is team fun. They just talked about it in the Players' Tent a little while ago. What fun they're having. Rachel Wacholder feels like she's got a load off her shoulders after going through some partnership struggles with Elaine Youngs.
Boss and Kessy led at 1.3-1. Now Walsh and May are up 4-3. That's our women's championship final. Nice up, and it's poked over. Misty May got it up, and Wacholder puts it away. Rachel Wacholder, 7 career wins. She won 5 with the departed Elaine Youngs, and her first 2, interestingly, with Kerry Walsh, who got her that good start.
And that was when Misty May had an abdominal strain in 2004. Kerry Walsh needed just to pick up a player, and she picked up a Rachel Wacholder, who for the first time really got a chance to show the volleyball world what great skills she has.
And winning 2 of the biggest tournaments in Europe in that Olympic year. Here comes May. And Misty with a cut. So Misty May puts it away. Misty May, of course, the 2004 Olympic gold medalist with Kerry Walsh. She also played in 2000. She finished 5th, you might remember her, with Holly McPeak. And she was bothered by a strained groin muscle then. Off to a good start with 4 kills. 5-4, May and Walsh lead. Boss. She's got it.
And you mentioned before Jen Boss, along with her former partner Nancy Mason, probably 2 of the greatest players on the AVP Tour never to have won a tournament. Jen Boss 0-20 lifetime against this team of Walsh and May, looking to notch that first victory.
Boss, primarily an indoor player, played 3 years after she graduated from USC in Europe, and then coming out to the AVP Tour. She's big enough. She has the stature to challenge Walsh and May at the net, and I think if you're going to beat the gold medalists, you have to have that.
And she played and learned a lot with Holly McPeak last year. They were teammates, and Jen Boss and Holly McPeak had May and Walsh on the ropes several times, including in Cincinnati when they had a big lead and let it slip away. But she has at times blocked Walsh and May very successfully.
Cut shot, and Walsh picks it up. And the put away.
Well, that is such a hard shot to get to, Chris, because Walsh doesn't have to hit it up to get it over the block. It goes down and deep, and it's really hard. Watch the trajectory on this ball that Walsh hits after she makes the great dig, gets up, and hits it down and over that block. Really hard play to stop.
Kerry Walsh told me before Manhattan she wants to play for another 10 years. That would encompass Beijing, London, and maybe beyond. 7-5 our score. Off the top, Walsh going on. What a spectacular up. May shovels it over. And Boss thumps it through. Boy, Kerry Walsh, you know her as a hitter blocker, but she can chug a lug as good as anybody.
It is amazing. I've said it a few times before, but it's kind of like having Kevin Garnett and Allen Iverson in the same package. She can dominate at the net so much, but she moves so cat-like. It's astounding how she can get back so quickly, and that was a phenomenal up.
7-6 our score. Wacholder and Boss trailing. They have the serve. Walsh already with a good defensive performance. 5 digs early. And the serve is into the net.
Now, you talked before about Walsh talking about playing in 10 years. We can talk a little bit about more about that after this commercial, about their plans for having kids.
Okay. 8-6 our score. Game 1. We're going to continue with our coverage of AVP Pro Beach in Coney after this. 8-6 in game 1 of our women's final. Dane Selznick, the head coach for Kerry Walsh and Misty May. Dane, are you happy with the start your team has gotten?
Describe our team as what?
Are you happy with the start your team has achieved?
Well, the key right now for us is to just maintain the same way we've been playing throughout this tournament. Right now, Rachel and Kess have nothing to lose out here, and you know they're playing that way. They're trying to play a consistently mistake-proof game here. And watching Kerry and Misty play as a team, they're making all the right plays, and that's what we got to do. We got to finish them so that they don't get the ball back after a second up like that. So we just have to keep maintaining that confidence and ball control and communication on the court like we've done all this tournament.
Dane, this is Karch. You talked about coming into the season and proving your team's serving, yet neither player has been able to average even half an ace per game. What are you doing to work on that and improve it?
Well, we've had shoulder issues, and that's kind of stopped us from being aggressive in that part of the game. So we've never really gotten into a rhythm of serving as tough as some of these other teams. So, you know, we're basically taking care of one of our strengths, and that is keeping the ball in play and playing very good defense.
All right, thank you very much, Dane. Dane Selznick, of course, the coach and one of the great servers in AVP history. Right now, it's 9-7 our score. Misty May, Kerry Walsh. on the right side of your screen. Jen Boss with the dig, Wacholder with the set, and Boss thumps another one.
And sometimes in transition, it actually looks like Jen Boss is stronger hitting from what we call the right side of the court there. Watch, she dropped off the net. This would be a right side hit as she's close to the right sideline, and she hits that high middle hard shot very well and finishes it for a point.
9-8. May and Walsh lead here in game 1. Walsh missed it. And we're tied up at 9.
And now Boss has scored 4 points on her serve, serving hard from left to right into the wind. 2 when they were there. The team switch every 7 points. So now she's gotten back here and served 2 more points in this turn of 7 points on the left side of the court.
Game 1 in the best 2 out of 3. First 2 games are to 21. Third and final game, if necessary, to 15. Boss looking for the lead here. And Misty taps it down the line.
Again, Walsh doing a really nice job of giving her partner the right call, telling her the open spot in the court. And she'll say, line, 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 line. Listen here.
So now Kerry Walsh to serve. Her old partner, Rachel Wacholder. And Wacholder drops one through. Wacholder last year named the best defensive player on tour. Also the most improved.
And Wacholder still digging up. There's been debris on the court, on all of the courts here in Coney Island, but it's gotten a lot cleaner with all the volunteers have been picking up some of the glass and shells.
Misty on the back set. We mentioned that Misty May and Kerry Walsh, the top-rated team in the world, and why not? They are on a roll. Here in game 1, they lead 11-10. AVP Crocs Tour rolling on Coney Island. The AVP Brooklyn Open, presented by Cushman and Wakefield. Kerry Walsh, one of the great players in the world, one of the 2 best, but a struggling start for her a little bit.
Unusual start, and that's why the game is so close, and they only have a 1-point lead. Jen Boss has been able to serve really tough into the wind and put Walsh in a bit of trouble, starting out with the first serve being an ace or a near ace, and it led to an easy point scoring opportunity. The very next serve, a pass that goes backwards near the end line. Too hard for Walsh to contact on that ball. And what happens is all these serves are so hard, the passes come up with a lot of spin. The set doesn't go where Walsh likes it best, and it's much harder for her to perform offensively.
For more on Kerry, let's go down to Heather.
Well, the demands on the Olympic gold medalists have been intense. Not only are they competing domestically for the AVP Crocs Cup, but also internationally to work toward Olympic qualification. The journey started way back in May. They're traveling and competing for 20 consecutive weeks. They're currently in week 16. Now, physically, both Kerry and Misty told me they're handling it and holding up well, but Kerry did admit that mentally they're exhausted from having to be what she calls match mode virtually every day. Now, the intense schedule has certainly taken its toll. Of the 4 teams participating on the 20-week adventure, 3 have already broken up. Kerry and Misty are the only team to remain together, which begs the question, Karch, how long can they keep up this pace?
Well, Walsh talked about it just a little while ago about how she got her first Thursday at home since late April, just a week ago before the Manhattan Beach Open, and so they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Both May and Walsh talked about it, getting toward the end of this 20 straight weekend streak, but it's an amazing one, and as you said, they're the only team still surviving.
Misty May and Kerry Walsh now both married in the last couple of years. Misty's got it. Walsh pokes it over. And the big block by Kerry Walsh. That's her first block of the match. Wacholder and Boss are upset about something, and they are admonishing Steve Kenyon, our first referee.
One of you has to see that.
With the ball.
And Rachel Wacholder, you might have heard it. One of you has to see that.
Rachel, let's play.
They're saying that Walsh hit the net as she turned off to block earlier in the play. We'd have to see. This is Walsh at the end of the play, and she clearly did not net at that point, but it could have happened earlier when they didn't have the same angle on it.
Our second official, who's responsible for the net calls, Dave Big Wave Carson out of York Harbor. Here comes Boss. 13-10 our score. And the ball poked out of bounds.
And Wacholder there giving her partner a set that's just too close. The 6-3 Walsh can smother that ball. So in trying to avoid that block, all Jen Boss could do was try to hit it high, and she ended up missing it out down the line.
4 points in a row for May Walsh. And that is too tight once again, and Walsh stuffs another one. A lot of teams have broken up. Let's check out the race for the Crocs Cup. Here are the current standings, and May Walsh, they basically have it in the bag, don't they, Karch, with all the breakups?
Well, especially since the team below them and the team below that are both dead. Wacholder and Youngs no longer exist. Branna and McPeak no longer together. May and Walsh with a tremendous lead, unsurmountable at this point, with just this tournament plus 2 more to go to finish the regular season.
So Misty May and Carrie Walsh leading 15-10. One of the most strategical teams in volleyball is May Walsh. And a little earlier, we asked Carrie about those pesky blocking signals. She explains. Listen.
These signals basically signify that I'm going to block line. Both players line hit. So I'm not going to let anyone get a hard-driven hit down the line. This, my right-hand side, means I'm going to block angle. So the left-sider, I'm not going to let her get a hard-driven hit across court. And this play means that I'm just taking ball. You know, Misty thinks I'm blocking well. I'm going to get over the net, penetrate, not allow the hitter to hit anywhere hard. And if I go like this finger means that I want Misty to serve this girl over here. So she'd be serving the right sider here, and I'd be blocking the right sider's line.
And what's been happening on the last 3 plays is that they've been serving Jen Boss, and Walsh has taken the line every single time. She got a block, took the line again, a hit out to try to avoid it, took the line again, another block.
15-10 our score. Boss and Wacholder trying to hang in, and they give up another point.
And what you're seeing is that most of the points scored on serve are happening from the left side of the court, the downwind side. Boss now having given up 5 in a row. They were only down 11-10 when they switched to this side.
Boss dug by Misty May. Over to Wacholder. Misty there again. And it's going out of bounds.
The first point that Wacholder and Boss have scored in this set of 7 points playing on the upwind side, but that's the big struggle for them, is that they have to be stronger on the upwind side and kind of hold serve until they can get and serve harder. Nice defense by May on this play.
So Jen Boss to serve. Boss getting some serve, so is Wacholder. And it's basically split.
Which is much different than most matches we watch, where teams will try to make one player do almost 90% or 100% of the offense.
Misty May rises up and hammers it down.
That's a good idea of the great vision that May has on her offense. She saw the open spot on the court, hit it right down, didn't need to hammer it.
There is a timeout on the sand. It is game 1. Misty May and Carrie Walsh starting to pull away from Boss Wacholder, leading 17-11. Capacity crowd at the Brooklyn Open presented by Cushman and Wakefield. 17-11 our score. Let's go down to Mike Dodd, who's standing by with Jen Boss.
Thanks, Chris. Jen, maybe a bad call. You got stuck over on the bad side with the wind at your backs. What do you guys need to do to get back in this game?
We need to side out and not, for me, I made 2 errors right there that were huge. I poked out, actually 3, got blocked and hit out. Can't do that on the bad side. You got to challenge them. So for me, is passing, setting, and hitting the ball in the court.
Got to keep the ball in the cart, boys. Back up to you.
At one point, May and Walsh were leading 11-10. Then we had that controversial non-call where Wacholder and Boss thought there was a net. They thought they saw a putty tat, but apparently not.
In that series of 7 plays, May and Walsh took 6 of them and blew this game open from an 11-10, only a 1-point lead, to a 17-11 lead. For Boss and Wacholder to get back in this match, Boss has to put this ball away, and then they have to come up with a couple of tough serves like they did early for the ace.
Boss and Wacholder on the good side now. The Bud Light summary for Kerry Walsh and Misty May. Normally they don't lose a game, and they got a benefit of a forfeit today.
In fact, this is the least volleyball they've played all year to get to the finals. They normally don't have to play a lot, but only had to play 1, 2, 3, 4 matches to get here with the forfeit just 2 hours ago.
Nicole Branna injured her ankle or foot last night. She played 1 match today and won it, but then said she could not continue.
And it was strange because last night she hurt her ankle but continued on and looked like she was playing well and looked like she was walking pretty well after winning against Holly McPeak and her new partner Logan Tom. But they decided not to play, and some people were trying to figure out why, because she had looked so good in the previous match.
You saw her walking off with her new partner, Nicole Branna and Elaine Youngs. 18-12 our score. Walsh tried to block it, and she's going to get credit for a block there. Let's go down to Heather.
When I talked to both partners, I got very different answers from both Elaine and Nicole. When I talked to Elaine Youngs, she said the decision was made so that Nicole avoided further injury. However, Nicole said, it doesn't hurt when I'm playing. I actually wanted to play, but Elaine and our coach made the joint decision for me not to play and to actually forfeit. And then there was an air of controversy and surprise that was stirring about the players' tent. Holly McPeak said she was flat out utterly shocked that Branna wasn't going to at least try to compete. They then rushed off to the airport. They're flying to Colorado to train for the week prior to the Wolder event. But guys, a lot of players very disappointed that Branna didn't take the court.
Wow. And there's a good look at the record-wise, the greatest women's player of all time, Holly McPeak, 72 open wins. 19-13 is our score. Wacholder and Boss trying to hang in.
And the only thing that our broadcast partner Mike Dodd mentioned before is there is a big tournament next weekend in Boulder, Colorado, and maybe she's feeling like she's going to try and save the ankle for that.
The first game point for Misty May and Kerry Walsh. Walsh to serve it up. Wacholder and Boss in trouble here in game 1, to say the least.
Line over.
And the put away.
Well, really the key for Boss and Wacholder is to play well on the upwind side. They broke it open in the last time they were over there. They're going to have to serve tougher and play better there in game 2 to pull themselves into this match.
Second game point for May Walsh. Wacholder to serve. Misty and Kerry looking for the win. And that's it. Service error costs you a point. So Kerry Walsh and Misty May do it again. They win game 1. We'll continue. We'll have more for you after this. We are back in a packed house, our championship final. Dane Selznick is the coach for May Walsh, and just a moment ago instructing his team. Listen.
They either have to set the ball a little closer to help themselves make a better game, or they got to keep it out of our reach. They're inconsistent right now on what they're doing offensively with the setting. Okay, they're just not in a rhythm. They're both stressed at setting the ball. So we just keep serving them tough and keep putting the pressure on. And we make the right decisions on dropping off and staying. Blockers, go after the ball. You know, let's take the green light.
Well, Kessy makes it sound like they weren't blocking that well, but Kerry Walsh had 3 blocks that game, about 3 times her average. She's averaging just a little over a block per game. I think they did tremendously well. I would be encouraging them just to continue on with that. As he said, when the ball is close, green light for the blocker, stay on it. When the ball is back, do what Walsh did on this very last play, drop off the net into defensive posture.
So Kerry Walsh and Misty May, the #1 seeded team, and generally regarded as the top team in the world, although they don't play as much internationally as some of the other teams. Nice play by Jen Boss. Walsh has it back. Nice up, knuckled up, Boss. And Misty puts it away. Those are the kind of plays that Boss and Wacholder, they have opportunities to score points, but they've got to make it happen. They can't just hit it back easily to the other team.
You only get so many of those opportunities against the best team that's ever played women's beach volleyball. And if you're going to beat them, you have to turn those. Boss had 2 chances to put it away. The second one, Misty Mays all over and hits the easy shot down the line. But Boss and Wacholder, especially on the right side of the net from the camera angle, have to be better at turning those points.
Walsh serves it into the bottom of the net. So Jen Kessy and Rachel Wacholder playing for only the 2nd time together. They finished 5th last week in Manhattan, and this week in the final. Of course, beating Elaine Youngs and Nicole Branna last night. That was a big win. The former partners. Oh, Misty to serve. 2-2. You look at Mason Turner, Branna Youngs finishing 3rd. That's Tyra Turner, and then Davis Jordan.
Both of those new teams.
McPeak and Logan Tom getting the best finish of her career. Carrie Dodd, Barbara Fontana, Mimi, and Tachi were 7th. Boss, her best hit of the match, right under. She looked like she sizzled the pits of Kerry Walsh.
Doing much better job on this. Rachel Wacholder's giving her better sets, and she is able to slip it under, hit the hard down angle here. Watch how she gets on top of that ball. Really nicely done.
And we've named that our Vonage spike of the match already. There may be one better, but that was a beauty. Our Vonage spike of the match. High voltage. Now Rachel Wacholder sits to serve. She'll be going home next weekend to play in Boulder, Colorado. As Misty May pops it off the block.
Heather brought up a point before in her report about Elaine Youngs and her coach Liz Mazakayan deciding for her new partner Nicole Branna that she shouldn't play. Rachel Wacholder, that's one of the things she is actually a little relieved about. She feels like she didn't have a voice when she was playing with Elaine Youngs, and feels much better. In fact, Jen Boss earlier said, no way, she's the boss now.
Well, there's certainly better body language between Wacholder and Boss than there was between Wacholder and Elaine Youngs. However, they trail 1-0 and 4-3 here in game 2. Stay tuned. AVP Brooklyn Open presented by Cushman and Wakefield. May and Walsh in command. Of course, Kerry Walsh married last December to AVP star Kessy Jennings. And in case you didn't see the wedding photos, they had a good photographer. Probably paid him a lot of jack because he got some sweet photos, didn't he, Karch?
He got some great ones, and it was a wonderful ceremony. A lot of the tour players were out there to celebrate their greatest moment so far.
If you can make Kessy look good, you should get a raise. Look, speaking of Kessy, he's down with Heather Cox. Heather.
And looking pretty good after a 3rd place finish yesterday in the Brooklyn Open. And Kessy, not very often that husband and wives actually have the same occupation, can really relate with one another. Because of that, what type of advice were you able to give Kerry before she took the stand today?
As far as now, it's basically go give them your best and make sure you get a good warm-up and stretch. And she knows what to do, and our advice is minimal at this point, unless they're getting beat somehow, and then I can maybe help them out a little more. But for now, they're doing great.
Two of the greatest players on the beach. But if you could go one-on-one against each other, who wins that match?
We do go one-on-one. And Carty, who wins that match? You tell him. I win that match, and Marlo knows it too.
Kerry wins.
Oh, Marlo said Kerry, but Kessy's with the truth.
I think she owes me a couple hundred now. I'm like 10-0 maybe now, but she's getting closer.
She doesn't owe you. She owns you.
Marlo's giving you a little bit of trash, but now let's talk about the men's side a bit. During the offseason, 9 of 10 of the top teams split. The only ones to stay together, you and your partner. What makes this such a steady group?
Furby and I are such good friends, and you know, we're doing good. We're knocking on the door every single weekend. We're doing good this year. We're not doing as good as we want to be doing, and why would you split up, you know, at that point? So we're both pretty content with what we're doing right now, and we're just going to bust on the door and get through. So.
Well, best of luck to you. Congrats on that 3rd place finish, and 10-0 against Kerry too. That's pretty impressive.
Not many people can say they have a winning record against Kerry Walsh, you know.
Kerry Walsh, of course, married to Kessy Jennings. And Rachel Wacholder and Jen Voss get a much-needed point. They are on the good side now, and I think the good side here, Karch, is a lot better than the bad side because of the wind.
The bad side was really bad for Voss and Wacholder in game 1, but Voss is now in the serving position she wants to be in. She earned 4 or 5 points on her serve in game 1. See if she can rip it down the middle and try to go for the ace between May and Walsh, one of the few areas they have trouble covering on service reception.
6-4 our score. And that ball's up. Nice play. Wacholder on the run. Voss with a nice dig. And Voss thumps it through.
Wow, what a smart play by Jen Voss. Number 1, serving so hard. We'll watch and listen here. At the end, you'll see her drop off the net and go for that soft shot. She dropped off once. Watch her drop again, tricking May into giving her the shot. And the finish, and that's exactly what any team that hopes to beat May and Walsh has to do when they have those opportunities, especially when they're serving. It's much more difficult to score points when you're serving, but when you get the opportunities, you have to slam the door shut.
Voss hitting and digging good. Has not been able to block either Walsh or May today. Let's check in with Mike Dodd. Mike, the wind seems pretty heavy up here. What's it like down on the court?
It is heavy, Chris, and Karch spoke about it earlier. More often than not in this big stadium court, the bleachers block a stiff wind. But right now, the direction of it is directly in the face of Rachel and Jen, and it's finding its way through the bleachers and really affecting play. It's an obvious good side, bad side scenario right now in favor of Voss and Wacholder.
Voss and Wacholder trying to make some hay on the good side. Wind in your face. They got a little sun in their face too, so it's not the great side, but the good side. Here's Voss, and Walsh is there, showing why she is the most dominant net player in the world.
Now up to 4 blocks this match, and that was a great play by Wacholder to get it up, cover that ball, to get it up out of the net, but all she could do with it is put it too close, and that ball has to be smothered by any big blocker, and Walsh does her job perfectly, reaching her hands across the net.
8-5 our score. Now Misty May serves. Misty May and Kerry Walsh have won 9 AVP tournaments out of 11 this season. Wacholder, dug, got to go over. Walsh touched it.
And another close set.
And Walsh again. Like having Shaq on your team.
That's been one of Voss and Wacholder's biggest problems, is they're giving the ball to Shaq. They're putting the ball too close to the net, and Walsh is absolutely smothering it with her hands. They have to pull it back about an inch.
9-5 May Walsh. Misty May and Kerry Walsh, if you watched our women's finals over the year, well, they're always there. They're in basically every final we play. They won the first game 21-14 and lead here in game 2.
And Voss and Wacholder, I misspoke there. I meant to say they have to pull that set off a couple of feet. Now they've gone to the bad side where the ball's going to blow close. Keep it off. Wow. Block number 5 for Walsh.
Maybe
again,
1 inch further back than that.
maybe 3 feet further back. Actually 6 blocks now for Walsh. Her best blocking performance of the year, and far over her average of about 1 per game.
4 in a row for Kerry Walsh and Misty May, and now Voss and Wacholder struggling, trailing 10-5. Wacholder into the bottom of the net. So Voss and Wacholder.
And now you can tell a team is really in trouble because they have switched sides. Wacholder and Voss have flipped. Voss is now on what we would call the right side of the court, Wacholder on the left. We'll see which way they go. They go at Wacholder.
Nice dig, Misty. And someone touched the net. Basically, Karch, what goes through your mind when you're playing another team and they switch sides?
Well, what happens is there may be an angled wind, and when it's at one angle, the player thinks, well, I'm so bad at that angle, I'm going to change. But it appears like it's a much more of an end-to-end wind, and Wacholder just wanted to change. She obviously wanted to hit on the left, so she might as well start the play over there.
Over the top, Wacholder pops it. Voss can't get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, how we feeling out there?
12-6 our score.
Good high hit by Misty May there. Walsh put up a nice block. We call that a soft block, where it goes up, but it stays in play. They just weren't able to turn the point.
So now Boss and Wacholder switch back. Boss back on the left, Wacholder on the right. It's 12-6. Boss with the tape shot. Here comes Walsh. Goodbye. Kerry Walsh with authority.
Well, we talked about there being 2 MVPs on the court on that side of the net. Today is Kerry Walsh's day, thumping with authority. Boss and Wacholder are still having trouble as to where they should put that set. The last play, Boss's set was too far off the net, and all she could do was hit it off the tape.
Kerry Walsh piling up the numbers. She almost near a triple-double. 13-6. And Walsh, May goes and gets it.
She can add her stats. She already got the dig. Now she can get the block.
Or another dig. And Boss thumps one through. This has been a terrific performance for Boss and Wacholder in terms of the tournament. They've got guaranteed money. They're going to split $18,000. But May and Walsh just so tough.
And it starts with this defensive play by Walsh. Great chase by Misty May. Walsh does the smart thing there. Just put it high into the court. Give herself time to get back to the net and decide whether she wants to block or not.
13-7. Now Jen Boss to serve it. Grew up as a softball player. Played a little soccer before she got tall.
Missy, you're following.
And Misty hammers another one. So the hits just keep on coming for Misty May and Kerry Walsh.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is called the Kiss Cam.
14-7, May and Walsh just 7 points away from another tournament win.
Yeah, really brought it in tight right there. Yeah, what about the other guy?
Can they get it? We'll come back to New York with more after this. The wave rolling here in Brooklyn, New York. The AVP Crocs Tour continuing. We're in the midst of our women's championship final. Of course, we're on the boardwalk and Coney Island, but a little bit ways away is a place called Junior's. It's on Flatbush, and this place has the greatest cheesecake. The tastiest cheesecake that has been assembled. Junior's Cheesecake. Wish I had some right now. Let's go down to Heather instead.
Misty, following this timeout, you guys move to the bad side. What will be the key to scoring points with the wind at your back?
I think siding out, Jen's been serving pretty well with her jump serve. I think staying consistent in our side out game there. But also, if we can get them in trouble with maybe serving a deep ball, keeping them in the backcourt, it's pretty hard because the wind's blowing towards them to bring that set up. So I think if we can get them in trouble with a deep serve, it's going to be good for us.
All right, best of luck, Misty.
Thank you.
Back upstairs.
It's been all Misty May and Kerry Walsh today. They won the first game easily, 21-14, leading here in game 2, 14-7. May and Walsh in the 16th week of playing in 20 consecutive weeks. They have been all over the world playing tournament after tournament after tournament. They're wearing down a little, but still superior.
I asked May earlier, does it feel like 16? She said, no, it feels like at least 20, but at least I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. 4 more weeks to go, then they finally get a weekend off, but then they'll be right back on the road playing in Brazil.
Mentioned that Kerry Walsh and Misty May both recently married in the last couple of years, and when you have a new marriage, I can tell you by experience, there's some expenses. There's furniture, there's all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah, especially when they travel to Europe as they're trying to keep their points going toward Olympic qualification with an eye on Beijing.
14-8. Now Wacholder. Let's see Wacholder do a little jump serve here. Here she comes. And Misty's got it. She's going to take a back set. And she hammers it.
You know, all 4 players have talked about having kids. Jen Boss recently married, and May and Walsh married. And in fact, Rachel Wacholder said that it's the one thing she's been sure of in her life is wanting to be a mother. And so they may have to do the thing that Jenny Jordan and Annette Davis did, and that is take a year off after the Olympics to have children. Jordan and Davis have done that twice.
2009 would be the target year for May and Walsh after Beijing, 3 years before London. Oh, and Misty's up high
with her first block.
So Misty getting into the blocking action. I know you like Kerry Walsh up there better than Misty, but Misty's pretty good too.
Well, she's got great technique, and in fact she got 2 blocks on that play, but in our statistics in volleyball you only count the one that goes down. The other one doesn't get counted, but it still counts in terms of intimidating the opponent.
16-8, May Walsh lead. Wacholder, and she pounds it down. A lot of people expected to see Elaine Youngs and Nicole Brenna in the final today. Nicole Brenna, in case you missed it, injured her ankle. They were knocked out of the tournament.
And they were due to face May and Walsh in the semifinals, but chose not to play that to forfeit that match.
16-9. Pretty good serve. And nobody up for Misty, and she tees off.
And you can see the difference in these 2 teams. Walsh with a perfect set there, even though the wind is at their backs. And you can, well, let's watch from the end line. Listen to her. She gave her the no one call, and that's very helpful for a hitter, because when you know there's no block up, you can take more chances and crack the ball away.
You can rip it, Jim.
You can rip it, Jim.
Here's Misty with a 17-9 lead. Wacholder. And a nice shot for Rachel Walker. Let's check in with Mike Dodd. Mike, what's up?
Cart, you mentioned it. It's really the way that Misty and Kerry have played when they're on the bad side. Good passing, good setting, good communication. That's really where they've made the difference, is when they've gotten to the bad side, they've been able to side out and score points of their own over there.
Just like here, with a great pass and a great set again.
Misty May and Kerry Walsh. No such thing as a sure thing. But Kerry and Misty looking like they're headed towards another championship final. May and Walsh leading 18-10. AVP Crocs Tour in the state of New York for the first time since 1997. The tour with $3.5 million. Misty May and Kerry Walsh getting some of that cash. They won 21-14. The Kerry Walsh at the net today has been unmovable.
She has been in her best blocking form of the year. And all she has to do is reach her hands across. You see that strong right hand there on that last play. Getting across the net is the prime objective of any great blocker, and she's doing it really well. Of course, helped by the fact that Wacholder and Boss have been setting the ball a little too close, where she can gobble it up more easily.
Kerry Walsh, her right hand strengthened by writing a million thank you notes from the wedding, so the blocking thus improved. And now she will serve. Here's Wacholder. When you talk about defense, who do you think is the best defensive player on the AVP Tour? You can vote right now. Text AVP A for Rachel Wacholder, B for Holly McPeak, C for Misty May, or D for Nancy Mason, the 2006 Defensive Player of the Year. Text your opinion to the AVP. What do you think, Karch?
Well, Holly McPeak has got the average, the highest so far this year, at 6.35 digs per game. So if you look at it just statistically, you've got to give an edge to McPeak, and she's been dominating that category for years.
Brooke Hansen is second, Suzanne Stonebarger third, Fontana and Misty May is fifth. And a good look at Holly McPeak, the three-time Olympian, our bronze medalist.
With her former partner, Elaine Youngs.
She's getting a lot of former partners now. Played with Kessy, played with Misty, played with everybody.
Well, what's amazing, and I congratulated her earlier, is she took another new partner this weekend, Logan Tom, and helped her to her best finish ever, a strong 5th place. Holly McPeak is unbelievable at finding these diamonds in the rough, and within weeks, transforming their game. She did it with Nicole Branna this year after Nicole was Rookie of the Year last year, and it's just amazing how she keeps finding these players and getting great finishes.
It is championship point now for Misty May and Carrie Walsh. Misty's on the good side, serving into the wind, looking for the ace to wrap it up. It's been all May Walsh today. And the tap by Wacholder is good.
And that's a better set by Boss, about 2 feet off the net. Not too close to be smothered by Walsh, but not too far off so that Wacholder couldn't hit critical angles.
Second championship point for May Walsh. A successful spike will do it here. Carrie Walsh is going to get the opportunity for the win. No, double contact on Misty May.
That's something May's been trying to do more, is use her hands as a setter instead of an underarm bump. She was an All-American setter in college. She wants to use them more out here.
Taught by the great Debbie Green and Brian Gimolaro at Long Beach State. Now it's the 3rd championship point. Let's see if Misty will go to her hands again to set up Walsh.
If you want to build confidence in it, now is the time. They still have a huge lead. Break them out again.
Instead, Misty, the bump. Here she comes. It is over. Misty May and Carrie Walsh rack up